What makes our business unique is the consistency. We mail out to neighborhoods at least twice a month so they don't forget about us, because you want to be top of mind. Like if I ask you guys right now, what's your favorite Mexican restaurant in your neighborhood? One will probably come to mind really quick. And that's what you need to be in the industry. In my opinion, you need to be top of mind when somebody thinks about selling real estate. They need to think like Orosco or Joe Valesco. And the only way you're going to scale to a bigger level, like working out, it's going to take time and effort. However,
this is a long game, but it's those things that you add on. The neighbors are watching what you're doing, and the more exposure you can get is just going to help build your brand awareness within that farm. And that ultimately is what you're looking for.
You're listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, and stories, help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I am joined with Vikram Deal of the Real Estate Sales Academy. Vikram, before we intro our guests, because we have two guests, this is the first podcast we've done with two guests.
Yes.
How are you doing? Where are you? Like, you're still in Medellin. You're still doing.
I haven't moved in the last 17 minutes since our last podcast, Cody.
Yeah, you haven't moved, and you specifically can't move because I saw you prior to this podcast get a IV stuck in your arm. So that's always exciting.
Yeah, man, I can't really move and show you, but I got an IV in my arm, mobile service, which is because I couldn't get in there today. So health matters, and if you're not taking care of your health, you really just don't give a damn about your wealth, because what's the point of making a bunch? Our neighbor back in the day when I was a kid, he was making, I think, like $25 million a year. He was private flying inmates all over the state of California, and he had a bunch of other businesses. He was killing it. But the dude was like 360 pounds. He was a big man. Like, he literally was, in the almost 300-pound range, if not higher. And he just progressively got bigger and bigger over time. And one day he just woke up and he went and said, I'm done with this. I want to enjoy my kids, my life, my family, my wealth, and moved to the beach, got healthy, lost 180 pounds and changed his life. So yeah, getting an IV at the moment because I plan on living for a lot longer.
Well, good for you. That's, and when I'm in Medellin or when I've been traveling, you've got me onto the IVs as well. And I know that me and Sean were chatting, we were in Nashville together at an event, and we were chatting about how generally when we fly, we do the pre-IV flight, and then we do the post-IV flight, just kind of get your body functioning again. So I owe a lot of thanks to you for making that a priority again in my life, making sure that it's so easy, I think, in business to get caught up in the day-to-day operations of running the business, where you're like, oh, it's 9:00 at night, and you're like, I still need to go to the gym, and you're like, oh, I'll put it off tomorrow. And I've said that to you a lot when we were traveling through Latin America. Oh, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. And it's but we're not promised tomorrow. And I think that I owe a lot of gratitude to you, Vic, over that. And for those that don't know, or for those listening back to the podcast, I lost close to probably 30 to 35 pounds now since the beginning of the year. And a lot of that came down to you just making health a priority, remembering that hey, before I got into this entrepreneur world, before I was in agency world, health was such a massive priority, but it's so easy to kind of let those priorities slip. And I'm really curious today, we have two amazing guests, and we've never had two amazing guests on the podcast at once. Two guys that are absolutely crushing it in their market with direct mail, doing things a little differently. Prior to the green room, me and Lex were chatting about prepping for a big listing presentation as well. Why don't you guys give us a high level overview? We'll start with Lex, and then we'll move to Joe. Why don't we start with Lex? Give us a 30-second synopsis on who you are and how you got into the real estate business.
Yeah, so Lex Orosco, been doing real estate for 11 years, progressively getting better. In 2021, my career took a big upswing, really ramping my direct mail up from doing 10,000 to, over 200,000 mail pieces a month. And that took me from 30 million yearly to over 170 million yearly. And my team went from 0 to 400 million in 2 years.
Amazing. Joe? you're next. on the high level overview, 30 seconds on how you got into the industry.
Sure. 30-second. Let's see. I got into the industry. My sister, she was working at Century 21. Let me know what agents were making. And this is, some time back, and just, blown away by, what we're able to earn by helping people, right, achieve the American dream, and that's to own a house. Always loved sales. I worked at Nordstrom selling shoes, out of college, and was getting a percentage there, 10% for selling shoes. And it was just natural to be selling high-end shoes. And if you guys don't know the store Nordstrom, it's one where there's no true sale. You have to get clients' information by asking them their address and information. Back then, people write a check, so you got to add them to your book. So I've learned a lot by working there. Fast forward, I opened up a real estate company. I grew it to 500 agents, as well with lenders, a lending company and a real estate company. Sold it in 2007. Business was different back then. I recreated myself in 2010 by being kind of in the epicenter at the right time, at the right place at the right time, when the iPhone was created and all this technology was happening throughout the Bay Area, where Lex and I are from. And I wanted to just have a small niche team, in which I did. I grew it to 5 agents and myself. But in the last 10 years, I've done $1.6 billion in real estate. Cool fun fact about myself: in 2018, I was the number 1 Latino in the country for volume, and in terms of real estate volume. Well, in 2021, I'm ranked number 37 in California for the Real Trends, Wall Street Journal Real Trends, and number 137 in the USA for volume. And let's see what else can I share. Listings for me have been a passion, and being able to help folks achieve that sale and move on to the next chapter in their life. And Lex and I got together in 2016, and we became these listing machines together, and it grew to something really special when we got back together here in November of last year.
I'm curious, and super excited to have you guys. I'm curious about what is your guys' partnership, because it sounds like you guys are independently both super successful. And I know that I've heard this from a lot of people in the past, and I was at a position where other people were like, hey, we should partner up. And I'm like, there's no need. We're already doing really well. So what does your guys' partnership look like, and why did you guys choose to partner? Maybe why do you guys choose to partner? And then what does your partnership look like?
I can jump in. I mean, more than anything, going back a little bit, in 21, I started growing my own team. I grew from 0 agents to 35, and, 0 sales to 400 million in 2 years. And everything was kind of, looking up and great. But, I wasn't in, the best position just in terms of where I wanted to be and where things were going. And, me and Joe just have great synergy, and, things have been happening really fast since we got back together. But, at the end of the day, you just kind of want to build something with your friend and who you want to work with and who you want to be around and who you can joke around with. And it's just a great relationship. We're kind of a yin and yang, and we fit really well together. And, with coming back together as a team now, kind of out of nowhere, we've started a, secondary marketing company that's, taken off very, very quickly. And it just shows everything happens for a reason. And, if you would ask me 6 months ago, would I be working back with Joe and on a team? I would have said probably eventually at some time down the line, but this fast and how it happened, probably not. But everything is looking like it's happening for the right reason. And we're doing some really big things, and the future is really bright for us.
You mentioned earlier one of your superpowers being direct mail. And I think that this is something that a lot of agents haven't really been able to nail down. So I'm curious if you could walk us through the tactics of what's currently working in the market around direct mail, because I think that we said earlier on a podcast at some point today, like I've said this multiple times, like everything works. It just all takes time, skill, and volume. Ads work. They take time, skill, and volume. Direct mail works. Door knocking works. Open houses work. And if there's one thing you get out of this podcast, like I think we're on episode 130 now, is like everything works. It just takes time, skill, and volume. Like, how are you making direct mail work for you? And what are the non-negotiables that you're putting into the campaigns that you think are driving the largest amount of result for you?
Yeah, I mean, I could let Joe answer that.
I definitely want you to fill in, and if you have an example, Lex, I see that you're at the office. I'd like to share that with our viewers. But answering maybe the first part of that and having Lex finish is you mentioned a few things. Excuse me, you mentioned a few things right now, Cody, and that everything works, right? It's just there's things that work better, and I think I relate the mail business and the real estate business as like working out, right? Because there's a bunch of different exercises that you can do to get fit. However, some work better than others. But at the end of the day, you gotta, it's about diet and exercise and the consistency to be in great shape, right? And one of the things that with direct mail is that you have to be unique, in my opinion, but you also have to be consistent. And mail is so expensive. First class stamp is 63 cents, right? And I think what makes not just Impact Mail, the company that we have, unique, but and that formed organically, and really during this downturn that we had last June through December, right, in the real estate market. But what makes our business unique is the envelope, that, and I'll let Lex talk a little bit more about that and what it is, but it's a consistency. What we do is we mail out to neighborhoods at least twice a month so they don't forget about us, because you want to be top of mind. Like if I ask you guys right now, what's your favorite Mexican restaurant in your neighborhood? One will probably come to mind really quick. And that's what you need to be in the industry. In my opinion, you need to be top of mind when somebody thinks about selling real estate. They need to think Lex Orosco or Joe Valesco. And the only way you're going to get that, and the only way you're going to scale to, to a bigger level is by mailing. But like working out, sometimes folks say, oh, I'm going to go to Cabo this weekend, so they're going to eat a salad. It doesn't help, right? I mean, it's not going to eat whatever you want because you're not going to have results in a week. It's going to take time and effort. However, we're blessed to be in this business because the commissions are so high and the income that we can make, but it does require an investment like squats and abs and eating well, and having that proper diet. But I want Lex to share, what we mail and how, and how it gets mailed and what the cost is, because that cost is what makes it exciting. When Lex and I were working under the same team together at Intero, Berkshire Hathaway, when we were mailing back then, it was like every door direct, or it was some kind of postcard, and we were paying a little bit close to 90 cents, for every postcard that we sent out. And we were able to put a system in place that it was technically just for us, but now we're also offering it to other agents, and it's very effective.
Yeah. So just an example of kind of what we sell, and I can put it up, really simple handwritten envelope, very simple return label that's not looking like it's, coming from, a business. It looks like it's coming from a friend or a relative, and a first class stamp. The real, kind of magic to this is, first and foremost, it's the consistency, continuing to, I would say bombard, those neighborhoods over and over. But, with the mail piece that we've set up, it's the open rate. We're almost at, about a 95% open rate, just by the way that we've set it up. And, you couple that with, the price that we've been able to, get it down to. Currently, stamps are at 63 cents, and, we're helping agents and selling them to them for 62 cents, all in, including the flyer inside. And we've really figured out a great way how to design the flyer, how to, implement call to actions, and really, being more effective than most people are in farming. Most people take, quite a bit of time to start getting calls, and this is a long game, but, our system has really kind of sped that up and helped people jumpstart their farms.
I love the personalization, and I'll let you jump in here. But I just want to say something. I love the personalization to the approach that you take in direct mail, because I think anytime I see postcards, I always see like, it doesn't feel personalized. So even the fact that you've personalized things, like you guys have taken a different approach than what most people are taking towards direct mail. And I think that, coming back to my point of like everything works, it just all takes time, skill, and volume. There's a skill element to even thinking about where you put the stamp, like where you, like how you write the note, how like, and me and Vikram have chatted about this, about even like with door knocking, something that Vic was really good with the Real Estate Sales Academy is he I apologize. I'm going to give a little bit of a secret, trade secret for you, but Vikram was really good at teaching agents that were doing open houses to essentially write down on a sticky note. And then when they do the door knocking, if no one answers, put the sticky note on the door and then create the callback. And then the callback creates the appointment. So I'll let you go, Vikram, but I just had to throw that out there because I think that what you guys are doing with direct mail is you're doing it differently. You're doing it differently than everyone else.
We use the yellow sticky note so it looks like the FedEx. And all you just do is say, hey, I had a question about the home, name, first name, phone number. That's it. Right. Super basic. And I love what you said about the placement of a stamp, because like I would not place a stamp perfectly. My stamp would be crooked. It'd be upside down. It'd be like a little too close to the person's name. And all those little things come back. So, like, what is in your offer? Because I used to send out postcards before I retired. I used to send out postcards, maybe not 25,000 or whatever you guys were doing, but like 1,000 to one neighborhood. And the results were not super great, right? And we did 6 months, and we did, started out four for the first month, 3 for the second month, and then 2. And I think we might have got like 1 or 2 calls from it. It was great for branding because we were doing other things in the community. So it was good for top of mind awareness. But what is making your guys's offer? Like, what is your, as Cody always says, he's figured out an irresistible offer. What's the irresistible offer that you guys offer that would make somebody open up their phone and actually call you?
Want to jump on it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, 2 things. One of the things that, that you mentioned, Vikram, is top of mind, but just the envelope itself, right? Because it's so personalized, and it's so personalized with the crooked stamp, with the handwritten, we have the robotic arms that write out these envelopes. The fact that they have to open it, it's like a text message, right? A lot of us get bombarded. Like right now, I have 565 emails that I haven't been able to get to, but if you look at my phone on text messages, I have 11, right? And an envelope, it's always going to be open, right? A lot of times if you live in a single family home, most of the times you don't have your mailbox that's like right outside your house. It's, at the end of the street or at the end of the driveway. If you're like me or most people, they pull out the mail, and whatever is junk mail, they literally throw it in the garbage. This, because it's personalized, they bring it inside the house and they open it and they see us, right? They see whatever we're pushing, in terms of that, that flyer that went out that week, or every 2 weeks, depending, when we're sending it. But then it definitely is a call of action inside. And it's multiple things that we use. One of them is, one of the ones that's, the oldest, not really a trade secret, is bringing value to that client, right? The biggest investment of your life for most people is their home. So letting them know what the homes are selling for in that area is making you look like an expert, right? Number 2, whether you sold the house or not, let them know, hey, this house got X amount over asking price. They got 7 offers. 1 buyer was saved. There's 6 looking. Who do you know wants to, do you know anybody that may want to sell their property in the neighborhood? So it's definitely a call of action that's inside of there that we consistently, place within our farm. And then in addition, it's, injecting it with some steroid, right, to get those phone calls. And what I mean by that is perhaps having a Santa Claus for free at during December for the families to take pictures with. You stage a house, it's in that farm, you invite everybody, put it on Calendly. You have the day where you throw away electronics and get a dumpster, or just a dumpster where people can come and throw stuff away and get involved in that community within that that farming, that within the homes that you're farming. So there's different events that we're holding once a quarter, or maybe a little bit more than that, but it's always bringing value to that neighborhood by letting them know what the homes are selling for, the houses that you have coming soon, and then just that consistency. But the postcard and flyer do work, but they're just not as effective as these, because again, they have to open it like a text message, and it makes it inside the house, not the garbage can outside for the most part.
I love the call to action, because I think that so many, like even the creative call to action that you said, like, create a Calendly link and, free Santa Claus photos, like that is thinking outside the box. And anyone listening back to the podcast, I think that you really need to understand that direct response call to action where it's like, here's my phone number, call me if you have any real estate needs. That's a lot more, that's going to create more sales resistance than, like a Santa Claus, or an event. So I love that you guys are doing that in your local community. So that sounds like there's an element of like postcards and rather direct mail, but it sounds like you're doing a lot in your community. Could you guys like maybe unpack the type of events and how you plan for an event and how you get people to show up to the event? Is it all through direct mail that people are showing up to these events, or how are you farming an area through direct mail, but also through events?
Yeah, I think a really good example, we actually just had a guy, that's kind of newer to listing homes in our office. And it's kind of funny, Joe and I are driving over to his brand new $6 million listing in, Los Altos. And, my phone rings and it's an agent in our office, and he's calling me and he says, hey, Lex, I just got a listing right now. I know you do a lot of listings. What can I do for this listing, right? What can I do to, bring in more people? So I was like, you know what? Joe's sitting next to me. Like, let me give him the phone. He's, kind of the master of the major, massive, like party open houses. So Joe gives him a rundown of, do this, face painting and bring in a musician and, have it on, Friday night for the neighbors. And then Saturday is going to be a little bit kind of more open to everybody. So Joe gave him a list of things that he could do on that mega open house. And then he asked me, and my kind of one word answer was mail an invitation, that. So he mails on the Thursday night party, he mails Monday an invitation to the nearest 1,000 homes. He gets a huge turnout for the Friday night open house. One neighbor that he didn't even speak to just kind of poked in and just looked at how we set it up and how great of a job he did. Next day, called them for a listing appointment. The next day he signs it, so it's those things that you the little things that you add on, and the things that, maybe someone doesn't even come and talk to you, but the neighbors are watching what you're doing, and the more exposure you can get is just going to help build your brand awareness within that farm. And that ultimately is what you're looking for, because it's never going to be a short-term fix. But if we're looking to be that dominant figure within that, market for the next 10 years, it has to start somewhere. And these are the little steps, building those farms and then having those massive open houses that are going to build your reputation to being that go-to agent within, your farm.
And if I could, add another, just kind of piggyback off that, just, another example is, just recently in March, we get most of our clients are, the properties that we sell, they get a rent back, 60-day free rent back or 30-day free rent back. A lot of times you can time it where, hey, their last day is on the 28th day and they're going to be moving out of there. But you ask during negotiations, you have this in top of mind that you're going to use that property an extra 2 days after the seller moves. And one of the things that we did was we just brought a dumpster, put it in the front driveway, also with the okay of the new buyer in our farm. We let folks know, hey, we're going to have dumpster day, this, Saturday and Sunday, come by. We set up a tent that has, our logos, names on there, a table, we're giving out water. We don't necessarily ask anyone when they come over, oh, do you want to sell? Not really coming off, that way. Those questions just naturally pop up, right? They're like, oh, it's awesome that you guys, got this dumpster here, and, it's so expensive to throw stuff away, $70-80. And it's nice that you guys are doing this for the community. And, oh, can I get your card? And then, so, what are homes, selling for these days? And it just naturally comes up, right? We set up a QR code there with, an open house, sign with our QR code there that automatically, if they're interested in off-market property or interested in knowing what the value of their home is worth, they just kind of click on it and it schedules us a 15-minute appointment with them. But we never asked anybody if they wanted to do business with us. We're just, doing this for the community. And, we are nice guys, but it makes it look like we're real nice guys because of what we do. And it just naturally, organically brings in that business and adds another client to our CRM.
How big of a farm can somebody start with, right? Because there's a cost, right? You said it's 62 cents all in. So, you want a farm, but you're going to send 2 pieces of mail out a minimum per month, and you need to do it for how many months minimum? Like, so what's the smallest that an agent that's like, all right, I want to try it out. What's the smallest that you can start with, and what's the shortest duration of time to test?
Yeah, we think 5,000 pieces is a good starting point. It's really for definitely want to have new agents jump on and try this, but I think it's for that mid-tier agent that's kind of in the 10 to 20 million range that wants to take it up to 40 to 50. I think a real good proof of kind of concept is Joe. He was farming his city of Morgan Hill years back, and he stopped for years. And then we actually just restarted his farm in January and it just shows brand awareness and name recognition and how much it sticks. We've sold 9 homes more than anyone else in that farm, and we just started doing the farm in January. So we've picked it up really quick with kind of where he left off, but also with implementing the new tools and tactics that we use.
On top of your guys' events, what other ways are you guys layering your brand building? Because it sounds to me like, brand is super important for you guys. So what else are you guys recommending, or what else are you guys doing to layer those onion pieces on top of your mail?
The only other thing that we're doing is, with social media, sponsored ads, within, you're able to, to do target marketing on Instagram, Facebook, and you can pick the city that you want that sponsored ad to be running through. So all the listings that we're getting, and also, understanding what your home value is worth. And even if they're not applying, on there, what I'm getting a lot just by, being involved within, my community is people recognizing and asking me, oh, hey, I saw your ad on, Facebook, or I saw it on Google Ads. But it's primarily social media and Google Ads, not doing a whole lot, but enough where it's creating, awareness, and people are seeing us like a billboard.
Got it. You guys the direct mail stuff is really interesting to me, because a lot of people have tried it and haven't been able to make it work, or so the fact that you guys are getting, you're crafting an offer, because direct mail 100% works. Anyone listening back to the podcast, direct mail totally works, but it's it's copywriting. It's like writing an email and crafting an email. Some people suck at writing emails, and some people are great at writing emails. Me and Jerome were having a conversation with this the other day, because he's religious about emails, about how he there's this guy who's been on his email list. It was an investor, ended up investing millions of dollars into the ARC fund from an email, and he's been on Sharon's email list for the last 10 years. So it's it takes time, skill, and volume in order to make a channel work. So when you guys because you guys have a team, so I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about what you're looking for in a good agent that would drive business for your office, and not just drive business, but also be a good cultural fit. What do you guys look for in some of the non-negotiables for an agent to kind of join your team? What do you look for? Maybe start with Joe.
Yeah, what I look for is an agent that has closed the minimum of 5 transactions, on their own, not, with someone in the last 12 months. Because I feel like if they've done that, they've probably worked on 8 or 9 of them, and 3 didn't go. And what I feel that I can do, for that agent is teach them how to get, somewhere faster. They have direction, but they just don't know, the shortcuts of the business to be able to implement them to a next level. So, good energy and a worth ethic, because I feel that, you could teach anybody this business, just like, I won't say that anybody could just, get a BA, or a master's, but there's one thing about, learning something and being educated, but I don't think that you can teach someone a hard worth ethic. I mean, I've been around for a while, for 20 years in this industry. I've had people, come out of top schools and they've never worked a day in their life, or they've been in, a certain bubble, of not, the diversity's not there, or never really had to, get up early and put the effort. And I've never been able to teach those folks to, to work hard. I think you're born with that, right? So for me, one thing that I look at when I hire someone is their worth ethic, and understanding their worth ethic. And I'm a pretty good judge of character, where I'm able to, meet someone, have a conversation with them, during the interview. But I think that you just can't teach, so they have a hard work ethic, and they've done 5 deals, in the last 12 months. That's the kind of agent that I'm looking for on the team.
How about you, Lex? Like, what do you look for when you're you guys share a similar type of ethos towards business? I know you guys are partners. Share a similar type of ethos when you're looking for talent?
Yeah. I think he hit it, right on the nose. I think, for myself, I'm a different kind of person. I live and breathe this business. So if someone is not that, they might not have a good time being around me, because this is what I talk about. This is what I do all day, every day. I'm, first at the office. I'm here by 7. I've been doing that for, 11 years. And, people have asked me, why am I like that? I really don't know. I just would feel weird if I'm not doing that. So I really want, people to, work hard, but more than anything, I think appreciate the opportunities that, Joe and I are able to, produce for them, right? Because we spend so much money on mail. We spend, so many years, building our network to be able to produce, like Joe's $6 million listing that he's able to, give agents on our team an opportunity to host an open house when they would never have that opportunity, right? Those things are just so important. And I think, people don't really appreciate those type of things these days, right? For me, it's like, man, when I originally met Joe and when I was able to, join his team, my thought in my mind is like, I'm going to be this guy's shadow. I'm going to eat what he eats. I'm going to do everything he does, because obviously he's successful, and that's what's going to get me to the next level. And, you don't really, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but you don't really find too many people like that. And that's the type of person that, we're looking for. You're not going to find them just anywhere. We're always searching. But just people that are appreciative and have a drive to be great, because, I want to be one of the top agents in the country. I want our team to be, the top team in the country. And it's not an easy road, but, by doing what we're doing, I think we're on the right track. And, I know we're going to get there soon enough.
Gentlemen, I don't even think we scraped the surface of the surface of the surface of the iceberg with what you guys can offer. As we wrap up here, where can people, if somebody wants to learn more about your guys' team structure, the mail structure, what are you guys doing now to crush it? Or if somebody wants to send a referral, agent referral in the Bay Area, where can people find you, Joe? And then Lex, where can people find you afterwards?
Yeah, thanks. You can find me at, www.joevalesco.com. So that would be the easiest way to find me. So joevalesco.com, JOE, V like Victor, ELASCO.com. And one thing I wanted to, I know we're wrapping it up here, but Vic, and you asked, how long does it take, for this to work in terms of mail? And Lex told you that for us, we had a lot of success in, January to now in a new farm that we started. But I would tell the consumer, the agent, the ones that are, wanting a farm, that they should expect results in 8 months. They should expect their first listing in 8 months. That's what I've seen in terms of average in this industry for, being in as long as I have, is that if you're farming and you're consistently sending mail to a neighborhood at least twice a month, you will get your first listing, within 8 months. I think since I've been working with Lex, it's been, I've known Lex now since 2016. It's been shorter than that. But when I look at as a whole, what it's been, since I've been in the industry, it's always been about 8 months for that first listing to actually happen. And then it's like 4 listings the next year. And then after that, it becomes like 1 a month. And then you just, you build from there.
Awesome. That's good. That's good info.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Lex? Where is the best place that people can reach you?
Yeah, best place for me is Lex Sells Homes on Instagram. Really, really active on Instagram. Always willing to help anyone. Especially with our marketing program. Love to help agents and really help them grow their business to the next level. I think that's the key, and it's been tried and true for every huge agent all around the country. That's about 98% of the agents got there by direct mail, and I'd love to help other people get there as well.
Guys, from the bottom of my heart, really do appreciate just the insight about that you guys bring from the real estate, like right on the ground. So I really do appreciate it. And I want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Our Agent Podcast. We'll see you soon.